What if the voice of God thundered from a mountain
And changed history forever? For the Israelites, this wasn't a question.
It was their reality. After escaping bondage in Egypt, they journeyed through the harsh, unforgiving desert. Led by Moses, they were a people in search of a home, a people in search of their identity.
3 months into their exodus, they arrived at the foot of a towering,
imposing peak, Mount Sinai. Here, their journey would take a turn that would define them, and billions of others, for millennia to come. Moses ascended the mountain, and God spoke to him, promising that if Israel obeyed his voice and kept his covenant, they would be his treasured possession, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. The people agreed, promising to do all that the Lord had spoken. For 3 days they prepared. They consecrated themselves, washing their clothes, their hearts filled with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. They were told not to touch the mountain, for on the 3rd day, the Lord himself would descend upon it in the sight of all the people. Then the morning came. A thick, dark cloud descended, enveloping the peak of Sinai. The air crackled with energy. Thunder boomed, splitting the sky, and flashes of lightning illuminated the terrified, yet awestruck faces of the people gathered below. The entire mountain quaked violently, smoke billowing from its summit like a colossal furnace. Through the chaos, a sound unlike any other pierced the air, a shofar, a trumpet blast that grew impossibly louder and louder and louder. Fear and awe mingled in the hearts of the Israelites. They were witnessing the raw, untamed power of the divine. Amidst this terrifying majesty, Moses was called. "Come up to the top of the mountain," the Lord commanded. He ascended into the thick darkness, into the storm, into the very presence of God. The wind howled around him, and a brilliant, divine light pulsed from within the cloud. The people watched from afar, trembling. They were in the presence of something holy, something far beyond their comprehension. Then from the heart of the fire and the storm, a voice spoke. It wasn't the voice of Moses. It was a voice that was both terrifying and magnificent, a voice that echoed not just across the valley, but through the very fabric of creation. God himself was speaking. "I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me." The people saw idols shatter, representing the false deities they were leaving behind. "You shall not make for yourself a carved image."
Golden statues melted away, a visual reminder to worship the Creator, not the creation.
"You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain."
The voice commanded reverence, a sacred respect for the divine name. Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy.
The frantic pace of life slowed to a stop, showing a day of rest, peace, and connection with God. "Honor your father and your mother." Generations were shown linked together, a chain of respect and love, promising a long and blessed life. "You shall not murder." A dark hand holding a weapon was stayed by a hand of light, affirming the sanctity of life. "You shall not commit adultery." A covenant ring glowed brightly, symbolizing faithfulness and the sacred bond of marriage. "You shall not steal." Hands reaching to take what wasn't theirs were shown, instead opening to give, promoting justice and fairness. "You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor." Words of lies turned to dust, while words of truth shone with clarity. "You shall not covet." Eyes filled with envy and longing turned towards gratitude for what they already possessed. The 10 declarations, 10 foundational principles for a new society, a new way of life. The people were overwhelmed. They stepped back, pleading with Moses, "You speak to us, and we will listen. But do not let God speak to us, lest we die." The divine was too immense, too pure for them to bear directly. Moses reassured them, explaining that this experience was not to destroy them, but to instill in them a reverence for God that would keep them from sin. He drew near to the thick darkness where God was. There, on the holy mountain, Moses received the 2 tablets of stone, inscribed by the very finger of God, glowing with divine light. The covenant was sealed. As the storm subsided, a new day dawned. The sun's first rays washed over Mount Sinai, bathing it in a golden light. The smoke had cleared, the trembling had ceased. A sense of peace, reverence, and hope settled over the camp. The fear had given way to awe, the chaos to order. The Israelites were no longer just a tribe of escaped slaves. They were a nation with a covenant, a people with a purpose, guided by divine law. The 10 Commandments, given in thunder and fire, were a beacon of light, a moral compass that would guide humanity forever. Thank you for joining us on this journey back to Mount Sinai. If this story moved you, Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with others who might find inspiration in this timeless story of faith, law, and the enduring power of a divine promise.